Yeah.
You have been so patient. Your inner patient one has served you very well. Thank you. Hello. Okay, a couple of little things. Then you're going to watch this, just such a sweet little minute-and-a-half clip. And then we'll get to the next thing. This is the, he wants me to announce what this is, so it makes it easier for him. Filial therapy. So Alliant Child TX Filial Therapy 4/26/12. So my wife emceed the, my kid went to Bishop's. And so there's this she fundraiser thing, right? So even though he's graduated, right, a couple of years ago, she still emcees their fundraiser thing. And because you know, you buy a week's stay in some exotic ski lodge, or Europe thing, or Mexico thing, or New York, da, 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 da. Start spreading the news. And what always sells goes for the highest bid, which you have at home. It's always the, oh, I gotta have it. And
puppy.
Correct. A puppy. They bring out a gorgeous little one. They've used a little golden retriever. This was a lab. And of course it has papers and all this. And they pass them around. And it is amazing to watch the little placards that haven't been going up at all. Of like, $15,000 for this little pumpkin. $15,000. Cute little dog. $15,000. Why is that? Why do we suppose we spend so much money on a little pumpkin puppy? Remember? When you look into that puppy's eyes, what are you looking at?
You're connecting.
You are connecting beyond belief. You are 6 months old gazing into your mother or whoever your caregiver's eyes. It is the same brain fingerprint. And we'll pay $15,000 and $25,000 and $250,000 to get that feeling. No. Actually, a little aside on that. One of the chairpersons for this event made the mistake, much to her husband's chagrin. He told her not to do this. Of taking the puppy before the auction home. So she had the puppy with her in the home for like 3 or 4 days. And totally attached, obviously, and they have this other dog, and the dog got a log, and blah, 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 blah. So they were going to bid, obviously, and they were going to win. Well, they only allotted a mere $8,000. Like, yeah, right. She was crushed, heartbroken. Tears, had to leave. She's one of the co-chair people. She had to leave the room. She pulled herself together and came back for the end. Oh, poor. So Rory felt so bad for her. She came over the next day with a bunch of flowers. Anyway, and they called it puppy love. Okay. What is some other unfinished business? You guys got my email about dreams and different areas of the brain and what? That's really fascinating to me. Another little wooga wooga. And we did the wooga woogas. So you guys know about heart math, yes? If you don't, look up heartmath.com. Oh yeah, go look up heartmath.com. It's worth knowing about. It's basically a biofeedback system. You buy this little thing, and I use it. And it's about getting your state in sync, your heart rate in sync. It's not just about lowering it, it's about getting it in sync. And the way to do it, by the way, is to have an attitude of gratitude. It's not just about imagining yourself on a hammock in the Bahamas. That'll lower your heart rate and whatnot, but that won't get you into the sync. You call it a certain state. It turns from red to blue to green. You want to get into the green zone. So when I thought of the hammock thing, it got into blue and whatnot. When I thought of the first wave I ever pushed Duran into, late summer afternoon, beach and tennis club. He's on a boogie board. Daddy, push him into the waves. He's about 4. And I push him, and I'm here, and he turns around with this gleaming, beaming face as I just push him. He just goes into the wave, just like, I think of that, my heart just fills, and sure enough, I'm in the zone, I'm in green. So that impressed me. It's kind of like, whoa. not Filial, but one of the really heavy research guys here is really into it. And he's a very thorough researcher. So if he's really into it, it tells me there's some real backup. The point, sorry, Gewurz, correct. Gewurz is really into this thing. If he's really into it, there's got to be something to it. It's a nice little gizmo. So here's the point. You take people, train them in hard math. You're going to show them 10 pictures, 8 of which are going to be la 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 la, a little pop sound, and pop corking the champagne. And 2 of which are going to be, yeah, I know, my weird association, because I'm still at the banquet thing. Thank you. I'm not an alcoholic. No. Early. I don't even eat chocolate this early in the morning. La 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 la. And then 2 of them are la, nah, nah, really dark, bad, awful, evil car crash pictures, like they showed you in high school if you're in 1952, to tell you not to drink, champagne or otherwise. So here's the interesting thing. They wire the person all up, and there is a pause of about 1001, 1002, 1003 between pictures, just a black screen. When the people, so here we go, right? There's a pause. Person's in their heart math state, looking at brain scans, looking at EKGs, all that. They look calm. Picture's nice. La 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 la. Again, it's randomly, obviously. Next one comes on. They look calm. They're calm in the black space. Picture comes up. La 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 la. No, no, no. They're not calm in the black space before the picture comes up. And la 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 la. Dark and gloomy. Gloomy is between gruesome and gloomy. Gloomy. Huh? I mean, come on. Way beyond just random.
So they're predicting it?
Correct. They're bio-predicting it. Their bodies, their psyches, whatever you want to call it, perhaps maybe, when they're in this state. When they're not in this state, they're random, supposedly. When they're in this state, supposedly, they're attuned. They're predicting. You remember the whole Ramachandran thing, where if I numb your arm, and I itch, you feel, pardon me, my itching. If you want to call that a boundary loss, or if you want to call that an expansion of your awareness, of your connectivity, and that's because of mirror neurons. Perhaps maybe in some way, some folks, and we're under certain states, it's kind of similar. We unbind in some way, and we connect then to something else. Remember that people who are blind, there are other types of, I don't know if they're really cones, but neurons in the eye. While it can't see like we are seeing colors and all that in detail, it can see or sense shape, and that's why they will not bump into the table. So perhaps we have some other kinds of cones of what we call intuition. And when you lose that boundary and you have that, perhaps maybe you tune in. It certainly occurs to me, or I understand, that play and imagery in some ways is like the numbing of the arm, because it opens up, and we believe, remember the Avatar article? Those kids believed they swam with that whale. They didn't swim with the whale. They believe they did when they identify, connect with that avatar that represents themselves, or when they imagine it. Again, that's why you can give yourself the childhood you never had, by holding the inner child. It's real. You believe. Okay. So I want to tell you that. I want to tell you, anything else I want to tell you? Another nice little sweet thing. I have a client. She's very close to 2 other women. They have a teddy bear that they exchange between them whenever one of them feels bad and needs the bear. And I thought that's just such a sweet thing to do.
How old are you?
In their 30s. Their 40s, whatever. Why? Is there a problem with having a teddy bear in your 30s or 40s? Don't look in my briefcase. No, I don't have my teddy bear. What else do I want to tell you? The spirit, the human spirit, and the need to perform or to make anything mundane into something fun and playful. So Rory and I are driving from wherever it was, Costco or something. And there it is on the corner of Grand and Mission or whatever. You know those guys that have those signs out, like go to Gold Gym or whatever? Oh my God, this guy is a twirler master. Unbelievable. Wish I had my, I mean, he's like, bam. And people are applauding. He was unbelievable. Yay for our species' desire to make anything into dance. And it was unbelievable, unbelievable. Take the mundane and zip it up. Make it fun and cool. Speaking of which, a nice little simple thing to do and add to your repertoire when you play with little pumpkins is to sing. And a lot of times what's really cool is they will sing on their own. And usually it's amazing to watch. They'll start taking the banana peel, la 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 la, nut, 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 and the banana peel was crawling up. I like you. And I just automatically and spontaneously will start putting some background music to what they do. And why do I do that, by the way? What areas of brain? I always think brain. Yeah, I'm going to the right brain. I'm going to the orbital frontal, magic mind. One of the marvelous things about music, particularly lyrical music, singing words, is it's bilateral. Left, right, left, right, left, right. But it's amazing to me how kids will spontaneously start to do little theme songs for their characters as they move along. Da, 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 da. Off they goes. Da, 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 da. So just know that. Also, rhyming. You stick to it till you do it. So I am 14 years old, 9th grade, Mr. McCann's English class. Whose woods these are, I do not know. His house is in the village, though. You will not notice me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. I could probably remember the entire poem. I had to memorize a poem and present in front of the class. Rhymes get in there. We remember. So I tell kids, you got to go into your own zone. And they remember the own zone, because it rhymes and whatnot. So if you think of little rhymes and whatnot, again, right brain. Okay, little tips. Is there anything else I want to tell you? I think we're good. Oh, the other thing on singing, by the way. So it's an encounter group of all things in Michigan, in northern Michigan. I went to Michigan State, right? We're in an encounter group with a guy, Neil Lampert. This guy could do encounter groups with truck drivers. He was so earthy, so cool. It's a 3-day workshop in this big cabin in the woods of northern Michigan. And finally, on the last day, after all kinds of things we went through, he says, you know, I think we're all now close enough that we can do the most difficult thing, the most intimate thing. And that is, each of us sing our song. And each took turns, a cappella, singing a song of importance. Oh my God. I don't know if you've ever just sat, I mean, imagine, I'm not going to have you do this, don't worry. I started to feel the anxiety going up. I started feeling the safety going down. Oh God, he's going to make us sing. Oh God, no, I'm not going to do this. My inner strong one will say, no, I won't do it. No, I'm not going to ask you to sing. But imagine if I did. You just would all, and imagine if we're sitting on the floor in a circle. Ooh, groovy. And we just shared a song, a cappella. Oh my God, the courage, but the sense of connection is unbelievable. And I will have teenagers, of course, never mind, little kids share their songs. They don't have to stick and sing them, but they mostly now just YouTube them and show me. Speaking of which, watch. We are the storytelling people. I hope it works. Oh, no, that's the wrong file. Okay, fantastic. But that's okay, because we're going to find the right file. I'm going to do that. Because I'm going to go right here. Oh, now I'm going to need his help. Oh, come on, baby. We can do this. Help my mama. Okay. We are the story.
Tell me a story about once upon a time. There was a little boy. Wanted to go to the beach. He said, Dad, please, Dad, take me to beach. Which beach did you want to go to? Makapu Beach. Yeah, why did Bo want to go to Makapu Beach? Yeah, he wanted to swim. And Bo and Dad got to Makapu Beach. The waves were really big. Was Bo scared? Yeah. Did he want to swim anyway? Yeah. What happened? They swam out under the big waves. Don't cry. Don't cry, Bo. Don't throw back. I love you, Bo.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, I know it's true. See, the next part is them swimming together. And I was trying to get him to put it together. This is from a wonderful surf video called Come Hell or High Water by the Malloy brothers. And it's about body surfing of all things. And this obviously is an autistic boy and his dad. So I just took it on my iPhone. I just went, oh, this is so cool, because of the way they two relate. Now, as you know, my style is I wouldn't have asked questions. I would have just led comments. And Boo liked to go to, and he would have said Malacca Beach, in order to surf the waves. But the way he makes this co-narrative, this co-story together, that's magic. I love it. And I was just, I love you, Boo. Anyway. Okay. Let's see, what do I want to do? I want to clear this. We'll just leave it up. How do I do this? I'm going to clear this out, and we'll just leave that up, I guess. Yeah, because I'm going to do something else. No, actually, you know what? I'm going to need to do this because I'm going to need something else. Let's talk about filial therapy. You know about filial therapy? Kind of yes, no? No. Okay, off we go. Filial therapy. Filial therapy was developed by Bernard Gurney. Gary Stolick studied under Bernard Gurney. Yanon Volcani studied under Gary Stolick. Bernard Gurney's point is there's not enough therapists and too many problems. So we need to teach people to do therapy. And humbling as it is, you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours, and you thought thousands and thousands of dollars to become a therapist and actually make a difference in people's lives. So filial therapy is teaching child-directed play skills to the masses, whether they're parents, whether they're teachers. You can teach a 6th grader child-directed play skills to work with, spend time in this way, vulnerable 3rd graders and make a significant difference. It's very cool. It's a skill acquisition model. It's a didactic model. It's an educative model. It sees the role of therapist, parent, teacher, cohort, friend, colleague, whatever, as an educator in many ways. You educate this other person to learn to do this and then be with a child in this way. They've even had high school students work with clinic kids, and within a adjustment reaction kind of population at least, have as good an outcome as trained professionals humbling it is indeed. Very humbling, actually, in a way. By the way, Gurney worked with Sal Minuchin in the book called Families of the Slums. Very research-oriented, very pragmatic. His wife, what's her name? Louise Gurney, I think, kind of took it over. And then Landgraf did his own thing, parent-child relationship therapy. It's a more structured 10-session, again, didactic model. I've done it for many years. The tape you're going to see, I love this tape. Tape you're going to see is of a group therapy approach to this. I've only done it in singularities. Way back when you guys had a final that was simply a task, a project, a something, whatever you wanted, Mitch Perlman was a student, and he did Filial therapy group as his task, because he was a psych assistant. The group went on without him, even after he left, because they got connected to each other. Okay? I want you to look at this. Actually, let me make sure. I want you to look at this from a systems theory. I want you can think about systemically what's going on here. You can think about psychodynamically, fascinating psychodynamic themes. And you can think about it any way you want to think about it. Okay, now wait, I need this to stop. I need this to go. We need to switch out of computer. I need you to go away. Bye-bye, computer. And I need you to turn on. And I need to make sure you are looking at the screen well. Move you over here. I always forget which one it is. We figured it's this. Yes, do we know? Yes? I don't know. Perfect. Okay, so the scene is a waiting room, typical situation. This is this little marvel. Talk about a spunkitizer. And you're going to meet his two parents, and they're going to go right through the filial therapy program with Louise Gurney. That's the mom. She has the most wonderful whining forehead, as you will see later on. A forehead that whines. That's Dad. You're going to hate him at first. You're going to love him at the end. You're going to love this man at the end.
Boy, this magazine is no good. I don't have any pictures. Say, pick up that cover.
You sit here and be quiet.
Jay, why don't you come up here and look at this magazine here? I don't know about magazine. Jay, I'd rather that you bring it on the table, okay? Jay, come up from the table. No, I'm on the way to the moon. No, come on.
Don't say no to your mother, Jay.
Jay, your father said, the only way you can talk to me is if you have radio, because I don't know where to be.
Jay, hush. Listen to me.
Moon control.
You quit talking to your mother like that.
I'm 3,000 miles within the moon. Jay.
Jay, you're hopeless. You know that.
Ooh.
We can't do anything with you.
Shaming.
You know, you cause a scene, you spill ashes on the floor, you cause trouble.
Oh.
Moon control.
Why don't you act like a young man instead of a little bitty baby?
Oh. Shaming.
Let me tell you something. I'm Yanon Volcani. If you're down there on the floor underneath the table, she's going to take you off somewhere. Come up here. Moon control. control.
The therapist is bigger than your spunkiness.
Pretty strange.
Jay, listen to me. Get out from under that table right now.
Please, come on, Jay. Under control. Jay, you're not to set foot on the moon.
I wish you were on the moon right now. You are the biggest pain.
Jay, please. Come on, Jay. Oh, Jay, please get from under that table.
Jay, do you want to go to that picnic on Saturday?
More control. Jay, control. I just landed the flag. Yeah, things up here on the moon are pretty creepy. Jay, you remember that picnic on Saturday? You want to go to that, don't you? Well, come on, Jay. Come up here and get your chair, or you won't be able to go. Moon control. Yeah, I'm in the moon cart now.
I've got enough of that. Then get out from under
The physical approach.
Sit down in that chair and behave yourself.
Watch the perfect one-upmanship.
Gets here, I'm going to spank you right here in the office. You understand?
Look at this. God, I love that. The ultimate spunk spirit over physicality. I'm going to spank you right here in the office. Touche, Jay. Unbelievable, Jay, dude. You cannot squelch spirit. So that's Gurney, that's the two of them.
That filial therapy is appropriate.
Once it's been determined.
Is explained.
That filial therapy is appropriate.
Well, I think the filial program is something that could be helpful. These kinds of problems that you're talking about are the kinds of things that many children have participated in the filial program with those problems, and they have been helped. However,
He's convinced.
Are common problems, and the children can be helped by having very special kinds of play sessions, which the filial program includes. In fact, that is really the major focus of the program. And the reason that helps them is that the play sessions give them an opportunity to play out the kinds of feelings that might be underlying their problems, so that you're not dealing just with the behaviors, like trying to teach them to stop hitting people. You're getting down to the kinds of feelings and conflicts and so on that the child might be experiencing that would show themselves in these misbehaviors. So the play sessions are something that have been used for many, many years by professional therapists and have been a very fine tool for helping children acquire better behaviors, just as you and like Jay have.
Well, that's what we're interested in.
So the notion of this kind of play has been successful and used widely. And what's different about the filial program is that instead of a professional therapist conducting the play sessions with the child, we train the parents to conduct the play sessions with the child. And I see you're looking a little surprised at that. And let me...
You think that our playing with Jay is going to solve his problems?
Well, Jay all the time. Yes, so it's hard to see how playing could help since you already do it, and it doesn't seem to be doing much for him. Yes, well, I think ordinary playing, may or may not have benefits. These special kinds of play sessions, though, are so different from real life that they have a different kind of effect on the child than the kind of playing you do ordinarily. The rules in these play sessions are very different. It gives the child a lot more freedom to explore his feelings and express himself, but at the same time there are boundaries. The child is not free to move in any way he wishes. Anything he likes to say is okay, but behaviors are limited. And you are taught how to exercise those limits and how to see that they're stuck to. So that would help him with his controls. But the freedom that he would have to explore his feelings before he reaches those boundaries could be very helpful with him getting at the kinds of behaviors that cause these problems. The adult, in this case the parent, who plays with the child, is able to be much more accepting than adults can be in real life. Within the play session, you don't have to be responsible the way you usually are as a parent. You're not trying to teach the child any new kinds of behaviors in there. You're trying to provide the child a time to express his feelings and to explore his feelings in an atmosphere that's very accepting, doesn't judge him or put him down or tell him he shouldn't feel that way. And in that kind of atmosphere, when the child is defensive, the child can play out the feelings that are troubling him, that are at the base of his behaviors that you don't like.
Hang on. I'm a policeman doctor.
Filial therapy may be conducted with a single parent, a mother and father, or in group format, such as you will see here. The child-centered therapeutic principles and procedures which the parents are to use in the play sessions are carefully explained to them and then demonstrated by the therapist while the parents observe.
Ah, it's old-fashioned beating now. He's beating him.
No, you don't. Oh, yeah, I'll get you.
I'm gonna get them all. He is attacking everybody. And you're really laughing. Taking a lot of effort and effort to get him out. Beat the man, he's still sticking there. Up, get up, don't hang in there.
I'll get it.
You'll get him. It's not gonna let that get you. You'll get him through, and you did. You got no much there.
What did you see her doing? Reflecting motor, ideation, and affect. That is all. She's a purist. She didn't join the play. She didn't become one of the figures. I'm not saying right, wrong. As you know, I joined play. I do it a bit different, but I certainly use that as a baseline. What did you see her not doing at all whatsoever? She wouldn't have thought of it. Correctamento, you've learned well. She did not ask Little Pumpkin any questions. And why is that?
Not thinking about it.
Exactly. It would pull him out into the prefrontal cortex and out of the magic mind. And it also changes who's in charge. It means I'm in charge. I'm making you answer me or be rude. And the only right question to ever ask a kid is if the kid asks you to ask a question, would you please ask me a question? What do you say to that?
Of course.
And what question would you like me to ask is the appropriate question. So this, you're going to see purists here. Okay? You're also going to see her, as I would put it, shoving them into the room before they're ready. Before I have a parent actually on their own do child-directed play with the kid, they have read Stalik's book. They've had basically a microcosm of this class. They've seen that demo tape with the little Goldilocks girl, the little boy, remember the tape of me with those two kids? They've seen that. They've seen this tape. We've talked about it. They've seen me with their pumpkin doing this. Actually, they've also had me do it with them. They do it with me. Like we practiced that one time up here. Then they see me with their little pumpkin doing it. Then we kind of do it together. Then they do it with me in the room. And then basically they do it, I video half an hour, then we watch the tape for 15 minutes. Okay, so by the time they're actually with their kid, they really know how to do this. I have them do it at home. Minimum 15 minutes, maximum 30. Most normal human beings and parents with their busy lives, cell phones and otherwise, can't do more than 30 minutes. And doing that 30 minutes, think, feel, say anything, do just about anything. Cell phones, all that stuff is off. I am just here with you now.
Next, parents begin to conduct play therapy sessions with their own children under the supervision of the therapist.
Tonight we're going to start with our demonstration sessions, our first demonstration sessions. Kathy and Eston will be playing with Jay. So the way we work is all of us go into the observation booth and observe
get Eston play with Jay. And after we've watched both sessions, then we'll come back in here and talk about them. So I think I'd like to ask Eston to start. Would you have the first play session with Jay? Okay.
What do you want to do?
You're supposed to play. There's a bunch of toys. Go ahead and play with the toys.
This is a dumb toy. Why is it even here? Hey, maybe it's a wolf. Look at those sharp teeth there. You know, it's kind of mean, huh?
You knew that was coming.
Oh, hey, look, some dinosaurs. Over here, here's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And, look at this yellow one here, man. Look at this one, he's like an elephant. Here's one that looks like a rhinoceros. Well, I think they're just gonna fight. Oh, hey, look at this one. It's kind of neat. Can I take it home?
No, we can't take it home.
Why not?
Because you know that you can't take other people's toys. This place is used by lots of children.
But look, they have all these. They have toys. They don't need all these.
Sure.
They were just one.
Jay, you can't take it home. Forget it.
Watch his hand. Watch his hand.
Let's put that.
Ooh, little scale forer. You little sociopath.
Alright, I've already done that. Hey, look, there's some horseshoes. You want to play horseshoes?
Sure. I'll teach you how.
I already know how.
You don't even know that the same person is supposed to have the same color. Which color you want, red or yellow?
I can tell that. Look, you have one yellow, I have yellow and red.
Thank you.
It's
You want
so-
red or yellow?
Oh, is it? Yep. Oh, I see. That's baby ball. I didn't know that's what that was. Looks like a squirt gun too, doesn't it? Yep. Surely does. She's really far, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, Jay.
You knew that was coming too.
Don't hit me in the face with the water or anywhere on me with the water. It's cold. Yeah, play with it in the sink. Jay, don't. Don't. Please don't.
Judged by the standards of a good play therapist behavior and by what the parents themselves will be able to do with further training, the performances just witnessed were terrible indeed. However, in order not to discourage parents, the therapist makes ample allowance for the fact that parents are beginners, reserving some corrective feedback for future sessions. We also the play sessions with Jay, and I'd like to start out by talking about yours first, Eston, because yours was first. And I'd like to know how you felt about that session.
Well, I felt all right about it.
That terrible session.
It was sort of hard, I guess, to get Jay to get started, you know what to do. But once we finally got to play horseshoes, it went all right, I guess.
But you felt okay about the way things went. There were no issues that were difficult for you, or no places where you wondered just how you should handle it or anything?
Well, when he wanted to take the dinosaur home, I wasn't sure about, I tried to tell him not to do it, and it seemed like we were arguing about it and wasn't doing what I was telling him.
It'll come back.
So I guess that was didn't really like the way that worked out, but I didn't know what else to do. He couldn't take the dinosaur home.
So
Actually,
you wanted to enforce the limit, but you didn't quite know how to do it.
what?
Didn't like the arguing with it.
But you did take the dinosaur.
What do you mean?
You
put it in his pocket whenever you turned your back.
Like that one? Sure. That's the kind of problem we have with Chad. He just won't do what we tell him to do.
It really makes you feel very frustrated with him that you cannot get him to do what you want.
Yes.
Even
Frustrated is
in
a lot of word.
a place like this, it's still...
But you heard me tell him. I told him 3 or 4 times that he couldn't do it. So he understood the rule clearly.
She just really defied it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So it seems like he doesn't want to be controlled, and he's kind of decided that if nobody's watching him, that it's okay.
That's right. If he thinks he can get away with it, he'll get away with it. I mean, she hasn't said anything. I would have thought he'd done what I told him to do.
They don't like to have a wool pull out of your eyes.
I sure don't.
But I think that's one of the things that we're working on in play sessions, to try to have controls managed in such a way as to make it something that the child feels is he's responsible for, even if no one's watching him. So we would like that to be part of Jay's operations after he's finished the play sessions, that he feels that the rules are the rules, regardless of whether someone's watching him or not.
Seems to just take me as far as he can until it's either going to be a fight or I just try to ignore it, But
that was the problem that you had with the session tonight, that he was trying to go as far as
he always does that with me.
Yeah. That's right. That's what always happens.
I just don't see how you could stand that when he was putting water on you and everything.
I don't know what else to do.
Feel helpless to try to control him.
I mean, I don't want to start a fight with him. Then we'll just be fighting and arguing. And we're sure I got playing anymore.
Well, you were really patient, huh? That was really something.
And I don't like it very much. I don't know what to do with that. I mean, it just seems like he's just trying to step all over me.
Yeah. So you don't like it, but you don't quite know how to move to control it and change it. Well, there's another place where I think the play sessions can be very useful. The play session is like a little slice of the world where you can practice things more easily than you could at home, where you have so many other things to worry about and so on. So this would be a good place for you to practice the limit sequence that we have been trying to use. And there were a number of places where limits would have been really important. The limit is to help the child pull back from behaviors that are inappropriate and know that if this, then that. That's what you really would like to get some sequences like that established for Jay, so that he understands that certain consequences follow certain behaviors in a predictable way, so that he can try to regulate his own behavior. So that would be very important. I think that's something that you're going to want to work on, and we'll try to be supportive of it.
Just saying that.
It would be important to psych yourself up to do it, because I think that is the key in your relationship with Jay, to help him know that you are stronger than he is. I think that's important for him. Even though he likes to win and he likes to be in charge and so on, he's still a little boy, and I think children don't like to feel that they're the last word on family strength. They know that they're very weak and vulnerable, and if they feel that they are more powerful than you, where do they have to go for strength when they need it? That's important. But it's something that you have trouble with. It's hard for you to assert yourself. There were many times where it was very clear to me that you were very uncomfortable. That you really hesitated to speak up. It's really okay. That's really okay to do that in a play session. You should not only give yourself permission to do it, you should feel required to do it in order to help him learn what you'd like him to learn, to master the control that you'd like him to master. That seems to be really the theme of the sessions.
It's a theme of our life with Jay.
Yeah.
So again, I teach them before they get in that room, so they have a much more successful time, so to speak. What are you noticing about how Gurney is with them? Yeah, she's being with them the way she wants them to be with Jay. She's reflecting their feelings. She did that right in the beginning when she was describing it, and they're going like So it looks like you're wondering how it is this could work. This is reflective to them. Okay, transformation.
After achieving a certain level of proficiency, parents begin their play sessions at home. The next scene illustrates a segment of a group session that would take place in the middle phase of filial therapy. Okay, well now it's time for us to talk about our home sessions. I'd like to hear how they went this weekend. I know that you had one, Arlene. Can you tell us about that now?
Well, it was an interesting session. Some things I thought good about and some I didn't. When we started out playing, Amy was having such a good time. And she had all the puppets out there and had a family and the baby was there and everyone was taking care of the baby. She was having a great time. And then after we played a little while, why, she suddenly got the knife out and you're going to cut that person.
Now, cut her head off.
Cut her head off.
Her arms, her arms, and her legs.
And her legs too.
So she's all cut off. Now she's dead. Put her over there.
Well, then in the last part of the session, she started to sell the baby. You know, she's adopted. And we've been talking about that at home because they told us we should talk about it some, but she really hasn't reacted much. But then I thought she must be thinking about it because at the session she got the money out and
They're gonna buy the baby.
oh, they're going to buy the baby.
Where's the doctor? The doctor.
Trying to get the doctor some money.
Yeah, and she gets to bring him home.
They got it, now they can take him home.
No, go put him down. Before this
Oh, he got his money.
he told me for Teddy was not in those.
Oh, he's not dressed like a doctor now. He just went home.
Hi, Daddy. Hi, sweetheart. Come on, baby.
She goes, oh,
Up he goes.
up he goes. It's a boy, baby.
Well, that does sound like an interesting session. Quite different from some of the things you've been having.
What do you think about that little chunk of play? It's adorable. Like I said in the email, when you're in magic mind, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is a little less engaged. Cortisol, stress hormones, all that stuff, not kicking in there. So you can do all kinds of things, like cut up people's heads and arms off and all that, with much lilting glee. Takes the edge off of that. Because you're in a context you understand to be make-believe. Remember that definition of play I gave you? That's the magic of it. You know it's not really real. And little pumpkins, little sweethearts will do that out of the blue. Just start chopping, start shooting all kinds of things. I told you the graduate student's kid who came up here for the demo and started eating eyeballs. And he was freaked, like, oh my God, my kid's going to be borderline. No, it's just the magic mind. As you know, the original fairy tales was very gruesome. Magic mind's a different place. Also notice this little sweetheart is pre-latency. So she has that doctor figure, right? Now the doctor figure is going to be a dad. So she just says, pretend he's not wearing that. Right? He has his doctor outfit on. Again, magic mind just can go, forget it. He's now a regular person, he doesn't have that on. Latency age, do you have one that doesn't have the doctor thing on? Because that looks like a doctor. I need somebody who looks like a person, a dad. And that is because, why is that because? What part of the brain is being more activated? Prefrontal cortex, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, rules, regulate, all that stuff, reality. They don't like it when the figure is bigger than the house in the sand world. She wouldn't care if the figure's bigger than the house. Please.
I don't know if this has relevance, but when I used to teach, and you know, you have to do the same thing. That as a psychologist, you have to choose which philosophy you're teaching. You're gonna identify with it. And I do remember when we were studying Montessori, and they have a very particular way of teaching, and the toys have a purpose.
Yeah.
And of course, how it started, it was because it started with children with disabilities.
Yeah.
But they still use it with normal children, and they want the toys to be used in a certain way. And I could never understand. And now it just clicked to me, why? Now I can give a good reason for it. And it was because every time they were playing, they would use the toys with their own magic mind.
That's
and
exactly.
they keep like directing them to use them, like, you know, like stacking them a certain way, and children. So I didn't agree with that, but I could not put the finger on why.
Yeah.
And
You're more attuned.
yeah, so.
Well said.
She could come out with playing about the adoption, expressing that it's been such a long time and you've got nothing out of her before.
Yeah, I guess she really understands about that, and she seems content about it. The family was happy.
So it sounds like you are looking at that as having made a little positive contribution to what you know about her and the way she's feeling. That part of the adoption part of it.
Yeah, I feel fine about that. But the other, I don't know.
So it seemed like she used the play session to kind of deal with two different kinds of areas that she doesn't typically talk about. She doesn't typically get into violent play in a symbolic way, as it was, the way you described it. And doesn't typically talk about her in any way indicate feelings about the adoption.
No, she never has before.
So it kind of breaks these sessions. Yeah. But she really seems to be using the play sessions for a chance to deal with feelings that in real life she doesn't typically deal with. When we talk about play sessions, being able to let children do.
Yeah, I guess she does. Now that you put it that way.
You could even see if that could be the case. Glad we haven't heard about your play session this weekend.
Oh boy, it was really something, let me tell you. I'm glad we had it out in the garage. Gotta put him in the water. Soft. Bang. Gotta put him in the water and hit him.
That was an expressive session too. I'm really amazed at how all the children seem to be now at the height of expressing themselves, and I think that means that they're really into play sessions and utilizing it very fully. Do you feel that way too?
Yes, he was not inhibited in any way. I just couldn't get over how different the play session compared to some of the other times. It seems so quiet, so shy.
Yeah. A lot of things seem to come out in the play sessions that you don't see in real life, and of course that's what we're hoping to find. And I think you'll see that these things peak and then stay in a plateau for a while, then they'll tend to go down, and then the play will become quieter and less aggressive. We'll be able to see these transitions, which we're seeing this weekend in everybody's play sessions. I'm really impressed with how much everybody is accomplishing. Okay, Ethan, how about if you tell us about your session this week with Jay?
Well, you're not going to believe what happened in the play session, Jay.
Yeah, I just don't know what to play today. And play with all my toys around here.
You're tired of all the toys. You're not sure about what you want to do today.
Oh my God, did you hear him? Mr. Mirror with Heart. Did you hear that? Unbelievable. You're tired of all those toys you've had. You're not sure what to play with today. Mr. All that. Oh my God. Just wait.
I don't know, I got an idea. Okay, I'll be a bank robber. Well, I'll just be a robber, you know.
And then robbing with
Right. Okay, I'm just gonna go over there and I'll come in, you know, like the break.
What do you want me to do?
I'll just sit right there.
All right.
Okay, you sit in that chair. Get in there right now.
Yes, sir.
Right now.
What do you want?
I want your money.
My money?
Yeah.
I don't have much money.
Well, you're tied up, so just keep your hands back.
All right, we got it.
Well, that's money.
Be careful.
If you don't give me all your money, I'm gonna hurt your back.
I'll give you all my money. Just don't hurt me,
You
okay?
better have a lot of money.
Well, I don't have much money.
Well, I'm telling you, you know, you better find it because I want money. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm robbing you. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't tie it so tight.
Well, I have to. I'm glad I hurt you. That's why I'm here. That's my business, hurting people.
You're pretty mean.
That's right. Okay. Don't give me any of your funny business. Okay. Oh, stick your feet out. Or I'll stab this leg.
Right here. Doing what you do. Don't hurt me.
Don't tell me what to do either.
Okay. And tie me up and held the knife to my throat until I gave him all my money.
Wow, that really was an interesting session. I think it's the most dramatic one we've had. You've had anyway.
Yes, it was very dramatic is understatement. And Jay was really just in full control the whole time, and I was just doing everything he told me. It was really a different experience for me.
So he was in charge, and all the things that he was doing really put him in a power position, it sounds like.
Yeah. It felt a little funny, but it seemed like Jay needed or wanted to do that. You know, he seemed to be very comfortable in what he was doing, and he was really feeling his others, I guess, feeling like he had some power, some strength. So I just sort of let go and let him do it.
What did it feel like for you to just have to succumb to him? Doesn't that...
Well, it felt real funny at first because I sort of felt like, you can't say that to me, kid, sort of thing, because I'm your father, you have to respect me. But I knew that, you know, Jay really didn't mean it, and he would never do that to me. But so it was really just playing. But
I've had that experience too. It's kind of nice sometimes to drop the parent role and just relax and kind of you can be the child. You can tell them, let them tell you what to do for a change. It gives you a little bit of insight too into what it's all about, what their world is like. It's really reversal of the way it is in real life, where you have to be responsible. Yeah, you lose all the control that you normally have, and all of a sudden they've got it all. And then, so you're saying that it's sometimes very useful to you to reverse roles, and we certainly can, I think, accept that it's useful to the children to reverse roles, and to be able to be in a power position, which life doesn't let them be most of the time, especially with parents.
yeah, well, Jay really enjoyed being in that position. He just loved every minute of it and just seemed to relish it.
You were able to let him do it. I think that's the main thing. You were accepting, and that seemed to be able to allow him to go on with it and play it all the way. You deserve a lot of credit for that.
You can think, feel, say anything. Do just about anything. Bravo to him. I would never have a kid tie me up. I'm not saying he's wrong or anything like that. I'm just saying you don't have to have a kid tie you up if you don't feel comfortable. Again, you want to limit the limits. You don't want to have a lot of limits. But whatever it is that you don't feel comfortable with, you set that limit. I told you about the kid who brought in the real handcuffs with a gleam in his eye because he wanted to really handcuff me. And of course he said, I told him I wasn't comfortable. He says, why? I have the key. I said, that's exactly it. You have the key. I don't. We have these pretend handcuffs. No, they didn't have the little fluff around them. And I know those aren't near as interesting as the real deal. But I'm just not comfortable. You can handcuff this, that, the other. I wouldn't have somebody tie me. But he's doing fantastic. Transformation? Fantastic. By the way, footnote. These, at the end, you'll see the credits, and it just says they were volunteers from the clinic. I think what they are were former people who formally went through the program. They're not professional actors. They're actually real folk. I think these actually are Jay's parents and whatnot. But they've obviously been trained and are obviously fabulous at it. And notice his technique. He does ask questions, but just to get clarification of what his role is to be, what happens next. And then he goes right into the role. And notice with a latent stage kid, he is using himself and his dad, people, as toy figures. Little pumpkins use the figures more. Kids latent stage will use us in the play. And the theme continues and transforms.
The following scene is representative of the final or termination phase of filial therapy.
We'd like to start with you, Eston. So let's go out and do your demonstration play session with Jay.
A robber. I mean, you're gonna be a kidnapper. Okay. And you're gonna have this knife in this rope, and you're gonna wear this mask.
Right. So wear the mask.
You're gonna wear the mask so nobody knows who you are.
Okay.
Okay. And you're gonna have this knife on. So so I don't do anything. You come in and you're gonna put that on my back whenever I'm sleeping. I'm gonna be in my bedroom sleeping. And you're gonna say, put your hand behind your back, and you're gonna put this rope. You're going to tie me up, okay?
All right.
And then I'll tell you what to do after that.
Okay, you're going to be sleeping, and I'm going to sneak in with the mask and hold the knife on you and tap your hands.
All right.
Right.
You're going to be really rough with me.
Okay. You want me to wear this?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to kidnap you. If you're real quiet, and I won't give you any trouble, I won't hurt you. You feel this knife?
Yeah.
Okay, hold still. Now tie your hands up here. I'll put you up real good. Hold still. Feel that knife?
Yeah.
All right, hold still. Hold still. You're not holding very still. What are you doing going now? Hold still.
Ow! Jesus.
You don't feel like hurting for me. Hold still.
Oh. Why are you kidnapping me?
Okay. Get ready. Okay. When you're ready to do that.
Okay. Now you're going to take me up and throw me in the car.
Okay. Get up. Get up, man. Be quiet.
Okay, take me in the car.
I'm going to take you out the car now. Get in the car.
Okay, now you're going to start the car and take people in.
Okay? We'll start the car and take you in, okay?
Wait.
Look at how he looks at his dad. And remember the very, very first scene we saw? We saw that disgust Eston had for that mask. Remember, that's the first thing the kid, Jay, picked up was the mask. And by stupid mask, but he said stupid mask after Jay gave this look of disgust. It's so beautiful to see. And look at that look. The look of love. Twinkle in the eye. Bimonic state. That's a bimonic state. Yes, you have a comment or a thought.
I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
I've been working with adults probably too long, but the content, I guess, when we're working with children and we see, this aggression and this type of content, are we looking more at affect if we're concerned about any pathology versus the actual content of what's going on, like killing, the stabbing, the mind? There's a lot of violence going on, but if they're smiling and happy, and it's more appropriate versus a slightly depressive affect, or is that what we're trying to avoid?
I think you're doing one of those wonderful making a comment and a question.
Yes.
I think that's an important thing you're saying. I am not, well, just know at the end of all of this, we're going to talk about the whole themes and the context and all of that. So let's do it that way. Because that's a really important point you're bringing up. Because this can be very disturbing to parents to see, oh my God, there's that, especially that, hold still, like, my mirror neurons are like, ow, jeez. But look at that look. God, I love that look.
Use your eye now.
Okay, we're going to hold it. You hold still. You hold it?
take me into the house, and you're high up there, and you're gonna throw me down in this chair, and you're gonna call my dad.
Here we go. Be quiet. Get in this house here. Sit down this chair. Okay. You be quiet.
Yeah, you take off the mask. Okay. Now you're gonna call my dad. You're gonna tell him that he needs to get $5,000 within 30 minutes, or else you're gonna.
This was a long time ago. Ooh, 5,000.
$10,000.
Ooh, $10,000. We just doubled the stakes.
Okay, what's your number?
Okay, 555.
555.
34. 34.
34. Okay, is this Jay's father? All right, listen to me. I've got your son in the middle of the night clinic right now. You got that? Good. Okay, you've got 30 minutes to raise $10,000 if you want to see your son alive again.
You get the money?
You gonna get the money? He says he needs some time to think about it, to try.
What? 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 Heston, dude, what? He needs some time to think about it? Your kid's life's on the line, you need time to think about it? And he's been really good, as you know, marvelous, at asking for cues from Jay. I mean, again, he asks questions to get clarification of the role and the theme in the play. It's wonderful the way he does that. And in this pivotal moment, well, but it's okay, it becomes real. A footnote on that, by the way, just a footnote. One of the other things that adds safety, different a little bit from your question, but nonetheless, in all of this, is the shift away from bimonic magic mind to prefrontal cortex. So what happens next? Right, it's reminding us that, by the way, this is just play. A context we understand to be make-believe. And not really kidnapping, it's all play, man. And the way we keep reminding ourselves is because we move out of the play, what happens next, what happens next? And the other function of that is it keeps Jay in charge. Here's his dad, and there's been all this control issues between them, God knows. And Eston, in playing out this aggressive kidnapper, is still continually saying, you're in charge. What happens next? What happens next? You're in charge. As you know, I practice Tang Soo Do karate. The context is one in which you're learning a martial art, how to save your life by potentially killing another. Talk about high aggression. And you're learning to be very skilled at doing that. So it's very important in that context that when not only do you bow, but you bow and you make sure your toes and heels are touching. And he catches us every time if we're not. And he'll stop touching. So you have a lot, if you want to say a prefrontal cortex, a lot of containment. Because, oh, sorry, you're going to do things like that. That's going to be so loud. Sorry. So if you're going to have that much unbound aggression, purposeful, aimed, trained aggression, you better have a lot of dorsolateral prefrontal cortex rules, honorings, containings. And in a similar fashion, that's what happens here. We have unbridled aggression, a lot of containing, and a lot of you're in charge, I'll follow your lead. The one thing that's nice about this, that he didn't ask Jay as to whether his dad's going to get the money, is it really leaves it up to Eston, so that Jay knows it's his dad that does choose on his own, not because Jay told him, to in fact raise the money. Because there's a whole sub-theme here, as we all know.
All right, you got 30 minutes to find the money. You call me back or I'm going to stick a knife in this kid. You got that? Okay, the number. Yeah, the number's 555-3401. Right, 30 minutes. And no funny stuff. You got that? Okay,
Okay, now he's going to call, you're going to answer the phone, and you're going to talk to him. Answer the phone.
Hello? Jay's father? Yeah. You got the money?
Does he got the money?
You got the 10,000? He says he's got it.
Is he going to bring it?
Okay, you gonna bring it over here? All right, he's gonna bring it over here. Okay.
Okay. You sure he's going to bring it?
Okay, you sure you're gonna bring it? You're not lying to me, are you? He says he's gonna bring it, he promises.
Don't bring any police.
No police. Don't bring any police. Come by
by yourself, no funny stuff.
Right.
Okay, you got 30 minutes to get over here. The address is 2522 Mulberry. Right, hurry up. Okay, so he's coming.
Okay, now he's going to come knock on the door. I'm going to give you $5,000 now. You are time.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, he's going to come to the door.
Right, and he's going to get that money.
All right. So you're going to go to the door and get the money from him and come back and get you.
And then you're going to count it.
Okay.
Answer the door.
Who's there? Jay's father? You got the money? All right. I'm going to count this money, and then I'm going to bring him home if there's enough money. You got that? All right.
Okay, now count the money to make sure there's enough.
All right. Okay, is there enough? What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's enough.
Okay, there's enough money here. You're lucky. You lucked out. He brought all 10,000 of it with him.
Hey, what are you going to do about it?
Well, I'm gonna spend it. What do you think I'm gonna do with the money?
Spend it on what?
Well, it's none of your business.
$10,000 is a lot of money, you know.
You shut up. I'm gonna take you home now. You got that?
Okay, now you're going to put me in the car, you're going to take me home, and then you're going to let me off, and you're going to leave, and I'm going to go in. So my dad's going to be real happy to see me.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm gonna take you to the car again and drive you home and let you out. Okay. And then what am I gonna do?
Well, first you got to put on the mask.
Okay, I'm gonna put on the mask to drive you home.
Right.
All right. When I let you out, what I do?
Then you're going to go away.
Okay. All right.
Right.
All right. Come on now, come on, get in this car again. Tell me you're home, get rid of you. Remember, be quiet and be still.
Look at that look. God, I love that.
Right to the house.
Now you go in the house and you be a good kid as soon as I leave. You got that?
Right, okay, now you're 15 seconds, you're going to be my dad. You don't have easy.
Jay, you're home.
Ah.
I'm so glad to see you. You all right? Did it hurt you?
Yeah, how you doing?
I got a loan for $10,000.
Really?
You had to wait to bank people up at midnight to get it, but I got it. I'm so glad you're home.
Eston, I just can't wait to tell you how great that play session was.
It was so neat.
Yeah.
We had a real good time.
We did too. We all enjoyed watching it.
I'm looking forward.
Look at that look. No more frowning forehead. Look at that. She's beaming.
You must have felt very good about it too. It was such a difference from what we saw when we first came in here.
Yes.
You were really having fun, weren't you?
Yeah, I really was. I was impressed with Jay. You know, when he was in control, he had it all planned out. He wanted to do.
I think a lot of that's because you were letting him do that. You were relaxed into it. You were letting him control you, and so he became a better controller. He was good at it. He was.
Yeah, there's all those power struggles that went on in the past, all those jockeying for position kinds of things that used to go on, just dropped out of it. He seemed to know what he wanted and was able to direct you, and but just a question here and there, just to make sure you were facilitating his goals. You then, just kind of what you needed to go ahead and play it out, and responded very sincerely. I'm sure that you got a lot of satisfaction out of that.
Yeah, like that look in his face at the very end when you were his father again, accepting him back in home. That was just precious.
Yeah.
He was happy, you know?
Yeah.
Look on his face. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
So it seems like the major thing that was so troublesome to you and Kathy in getting the control area seems to have really dropped out as a major issue between you. It seems to be very flexible. It just seems like you've all pulled out of that as an area between you. And from what you're telling me about what goes on at home, it seems like it's happening at home too.
It's really carried through at home, I think, a lot.
Yeah, we don't have
Changed.
any of the big explosions like we had when we first came. It's not like that anymore. Jay didn't always like what we wanted to do, and we don't always agree on
Everything's
stuff.
not always smooth all the time.
just sort of 1, 2, 3, and Jay knows that there's a definite end and results. And so he goes, he may not like it, but he knows what's going to happen. So I don't end up getting mad all the time like I used to.
Yeah. So the outcomes are more suitable to everybody.
Yeah.
To everybody, even Jay. He doesn't, I don't think Jay feels like he has to try to come against me all the time. He's not always trying to step on me anymore. I don't feel like he tries to do that to me anymore so much.
So you're out of the power business with him too?
Yeah.
Well, that's really very exciting to hear.
I love watching y'all play like that. Oh, it's so neat.
I had a good time. It's neat to be able to play, with your son like that. And, to be able to let him sort of be creative and in control at the same time. I thought he was very creative with his little drama.
Jay's always been creative like
That's
that.
right, but sometimes activity wasn't channeled in that sort of direction. I wasn't having as much fun with it before.
Constructive creativity now.
I think we all have a good time with this creativity now.
You don't feel as though it's winding you up as a loser.
Right.
It doesn't work against us so much anymore.
That's right.
Now a cute little theme song. Sweet theme song. Oh. Mnemonic state. That is the epitome. That is a portrait of a bi-mnemonic state. Go take a break. Come back 25 after, and we will chat. Okay, we're back. Thank you for being so prompt. Come back. Thoughts, feelings, fantasies, reactions to what you just saw, please.
Question.
You betcha.
So how long are these sessions? Like, if each parent comes and they each do a play, then they all observe, like, are these like 3 hours?
They're probably, I don't really actually know, but they're probably at least 90 minutes to 2-hour sessions. And I don't know that each parent, they might take turns.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. That was the group format. There's a lot of advantages of doing it that way in terms of the group cohesion, in terms of things they can talk about, obviously, beyond the play. Yes?
I think it was interesting because you were able to see through the play therapy the resolution of the conflict that he experiences, which is him seeing his dad not being engaged, and like you saw how almost like the acting out in the waiting room was trying to get the dad involved because the mom was being the disciplinarian, and then all of a sudden dad came involved, and that's what he was hoping, was that to get dad's buy-in into like, let's be co-parent and let's work together.
That's well said. Yeah.
And then he resolved it. Hopefully, I don't know if he actually resolved it, but.
Well, it's kind of an infomercial, so you get but yeah. He wanted to be connected to his dad, and he found a way, and his dad learned a way to connect. And that changes everything. If you're a humanist, in the humanist model, that's all it takes. Necessary and sufficient. Other thoughts? What you thought about the theme? So let's put our psychodynamic-ish kind of, I mean, that's a pretty classic psychodynamic kind of theme, right? And notice we had 2 play sequences, right? The first one, little Jay comes in, not such little, and he's the robber with the knife and the ropes and all that. He ties up his dad, gives me your money. I'll kill you. And then he switches it, and he has his dad be the kidnapper. And it's dad out there. If he wants him back, he has to pay a ransom, not $5,000, but $10,000. Which is about the equivalent of 10 million or 100 million nowadays. What do you think of those themes? How does that fit? You were saying, again, partly all this aggression, there's knives, there's bondage, for God's sakes. So it makes you think, is there child abuse going on? What's going on here? We also had a little girl slicing dolls and heads off. But you're right, they have a twinkle in their eye. The context is understood to be make-believe. And they're loving it. They're like, yeah, relishing it. So what's money? Because it was sure important here. You betcha. If we're going to do, then this is a non-Jungian. This would be a classically psychodynamic interpretation, right? Because I'm really making money equal a sign for. I'm not expanding this. I'm simply saying it equals love. Do you love me? How much do you love me? How much are you willing to sacrifice to get me? How much do you really love me? You know, as Jay said when the kidnapping scene, you got to make sure there's no police, there's no funny stuff. You're not going to get this money back. You really are going to have to sacrifice. Do you love me that much? That's so cool. See, and I think if we look at it in terms of safety, again, levels of connection. First, he connects by being a brat. Yeah, a spunkatizer. And they're going back and forth, and you got all the we'll next get into it from a systems perspective, but we get all that. And then you got this kind of disconnect in that very first session. You know, he's pretty essence just sitting there like this. When you, I don't know, you play. He steals the thing. See, again, I have the power to take what I want because I can't get what I really want. And then they finally find a rule-bound game. Oh, I love it. You don't even know each person gets their own color. What? I've got red and yellow, you've got yellow and red. So brilliant. I just love that. You don't love that kid. He's getting a little safer. He gets safe enough to start wielding knives, control. He sees his dad's responding really well. Okay, I'll do what you want. Ties him really tight. Again, I wouldn't do that, but all right. I see you really want to tie me really tight. I see it'd be fun for you. However, not comfortable with me for it. Instead, let's do it this way. And then I think he feels safe enough with his dad. He's got it. We're connected. I trust you so much. Here, you be the kidnapper. And see this development of trust, of connection. And that look, when he is looking at his dad, and his dad got that mask on, oh, God, talk about twinkle in the eye. We are so connected here. I'm so safe with you. We love each other. And then that reunion. Oh, God. And he sets it up. He says, I'm real happy to see me. And it's so genuine. There's the play, the metaphor, and there's the reality that they have found each other. We have found a way to connect, and we love each other. And we can express it unbound. Just thought, feeling, fancy, question, whatever's.
Well, yeah, maybe you just kind of went into it, but I liked how Jay showed the transformation of their relationship in the last session. And he had the father being as, the aggressor. And he still told him what to do, but he had the father as the aggressive figure. He was in control. He was telling me what to do. And he kind of showed how the relationship transformed by having him at the end as the loving father. He couldn't wait to see him. I It's like he was
Very
showing
nice.
his father everything that they've been through. Just
That's a beautiful way to put it. You understand that? That's beautiful. So in that plan, oh, that's very nice. You see the aggression, and then you see also the good dad, the caring, nurturing, connecting dad. That's very good.
You see, the therapist said it really well when she talked about his issues of control, the kid not feeling safe when they have too much control.
Yeah.
And he was taking it and taking the control, but the parents provided him a safe haven in which to practice that control. They were taking back control of the situation and providing for his needs. And then the $10,000 was, in addition to it being his love for his son, I think it was also, look, I can provide for your needs, or Jay saying, I believe that you can provide for me.
No, that's nice, that you can take care of me, that you're potent, that you have resources. Because it's true, and you see this a lot in adolescence. And one way to look at their behavior is a communication of the extent of the intervention that's necessary. And they'll cross this line. And if the parents don't appropriately, fairly respond, they'll cross the next line. They'll cross the next line. And they'll keep crossing the line until, if the parent doesn't intervene, then the outer systems, whether it's the mental health systems, the school systems, the legal systems, somebody will say, oh, we're now intervening. So one way to tell us is when they're acting out is, you're going to tell us, it'd be nice if you'd say in your words, I need inpatient hospitalization for 3 days to stabilize. After that, I need one of those 30-day wilderness programs. Then let's see where I am. I might need residential for 6 months. I might be able, they're not going to tell you any of that. But their actions will tell you exactly that. And if you tell them that, your actions will let us know. You steal the car again at 3 a.m. in the morning. Oh, okay. That means you're just saying to us, I need to be locked up. You don't, but you do this. Oh, that means you need whatever. So I just kind of translate their behavior into a communication. Penalties. And as they feel safer, then they're more, in fact, in control as they're being controlled, and they feel free to exert their own control. It's a real interesting paradox. So put on your family systems hats. So you have mother, father, child, right? You remember, have you guys taken family system stuff? Do you know some family? Right, okay, so what's the assumption about the child's acting out behaviors? Do you know? The identified patient.
It's a way of bringing the parents together.
Absolutely. Their assumption always is that it's really an issue about this. It's about the parental alliance or alignment. And that the child acts out in some form or fashion to try and align the parents. And that this is, again, talk about homeostatic systems. It's a balanced, it's like a mobile. And they're all connected. And they impact each other. Now, you remember, of course, the concept of shifting. Oh, by the way, to get back frame 1 second. Remember I told you Jay Haley, Mr. Systems guy, wrote an article in defense of individual play therapy, which seemed heresy at the time that he would write such an article. His point was the therapist now destabilizes the mobile, and it gives an opportunity for the family to realign in a more positive way. He didn't care what happened in the office. It wasn't the therapy per se healed, it's that you changed the alignment of the mobile. So shifting is, somebody remember, shifting is, come on. Por favor, someone. Come on. What's shifting? Shifting is, somebody hasn't talked. Shifting is creating in others our own inner states. Okay? You gotta remember that one. Because it's happening all the time, everywhere, in all relationships. Particularly parent and child. Never mind client and therapist. Creating others your own inner states. And remember, I told you, remember that little formula, the wound formula? And way over in the corner, I said, parent stuff. And I said, the parents shift onto their kids their own inner states. It's okay if you don't remember it. It was a while ago, a long time ago, actually. You've been on quite the journey. And I remember I told you they shift the wounded child. You know, the abused parent abuses their own child. So if you had a psychogram of that, of the parent at age 6 and the child age 6, in a certain way it's like transhistorical bimonicisms. It's the same. I feel scared, I feel helpless, I feel angry, I feel scared of feeling angry, etc., etc. It's the same state. While some other states, the parentalized child, idealized child, the rebellious child, remember, that's a state that gets transferred onto, shifted onto a child from a parent. Eston, I don't know you, dude, but I bet your sweet bippy, baby, that your dad, or your mom, probably your dad, was a lot more controlling than you even are. I bet Eston had quite a power struggle with his dad. My fantasy is that perhaps maybe, Eston, you didn't do the ick that your son is doing to you. So you're having your son be the ick to you as you would have wished you could have done to your dad. You're passing down a rebellion. As much as you're hating it, some part of you, he's playing out your rebellious child that you wish you could have been, your spunkatizer. I know she had a controlling mom or dad or somebody whom she felt didn't listen, whom she felt somehow squirted water in her face, metaphorically speaking. And I bet they have a whole bunch of stuff going on between them. And one of the dynamics is, God, you're so hard on him. Jesus, you're such a wuss. And one of the things, this is not marriage therapy, but one of the things that Louise does very brilliantly is she's saying, Aston, dude, soften up, lighten up. I know you can do this. And he does. And she beams. She sees this man, this is the man I married, who's playful and warm and loving and creative, and not to be crass, he's going to get some tonight. Do you see how she's looking at him? The look of love. All right, I won't torment you. Is in your eyes. And the good Dr. Gurney is also very smart, because what does she tell the mom? Mom, come on, chick, tighten up. Get some spinal column. And she uses this word very pointedly, it's required of you to set some boundaries. Well, I don't want him to get mad at me. Ah, come on, chick, toughen up. Tell him it's okay, I understand you want to do this, but no, it's not okay to do it to me, or you can do it there, blah, blah, blah. And Eston's like, yeah, man, yeah. That's that spunky babe I took to the drive-in, or whatever. They're from the Midwest. Come on. So it changes their whole relationship, and he sees that. And so if, in fact, indeed, in part, he is acting out to hold this marriage together because they can align against their bratty son, Jay, dude, you don't have to do it anymore. They love each other. He's warm, soft, caring, dynamic. She can set some limits so it doesn't get onto his shoulders. Because, by the way, he's tired of having always set the limits. Part of him is. It's like in a step family. Get the exact opposite. You have the mom who has the bio alliance with the kid. You have the new stepdad who comes in. She married him in part because he's strong and firm. And guess who it is that has to get the little kid to brush his teeth and whatnot and go to bed? And guess who it is that says, okay, you can have ice cream? Mom says okay to have ice cream. Stepdad has to get him in bed by 8. What? The kid hates his stepdad. And then they're fighting. And it's that same kind of dynamic. It should be exactly opposite. You get into bed, you say, let's let him have a little ice cream first. But then he'll get mad at me and want to spend more time with his bio dad. Other dynamics. Okay? So filial therapy actually can have impacts on multiple systems at multiple levels. And let's take it even another notch. Remember the symbolic mode of reality. You give me 3 adjectives to describe this marker and you're saying something about yourself. Well, guess what? J is Eston as a child. Our children represent ourselves as a child. So Eston gets to be, to his inner outer child through J, the wonderful dad he wished his dad could have been to him. So you have intrapsychic, if you want to call it that, healing here. You have intrapsychic healing here. You have systemic healing here. Yeah, it's one big happy party. It's a love fest. But do remember that. Our children are ourselves as kids. Again, that's what I just said about the shifting. Parents shift. Well, you can also positively. He gets to be the dad he always wished he had had. So cool. So given all of this, when might you use filial therapy? Now, granted, you're going to want to feel competent in doing this kind of stuff on your own with the kids, never mind teaching the parents. But what kinds of populations were you thinking?
Conduct issues, maybe.
Okay.
Like a kid having conduct issues. Maybe even like, oppositional defiance.
Okay. I mean, to beg or ask the question the other way, though, is when wouldn't you do it? Because filial people would say this should be the default intervention. And of course, I'm sure you all read way back when I sent you an article about evidence-based studies for humanistic approaches. One of the things they emphasize is, yes, it works. And by the way, it works even better if you get the parents involved. Remember that? So they'd be saying, yeah, sure, you should do this most of the time. I don't do it most of the time for a variety of reasons. I do involve parents a lot. I do a lot of the individual, but I will see parent with child together. I always say we're a team. Whatever the kid is, we're Team J. I always wanted to get like T-shirts, Team J, whatever, and we all wear them. We were a team together, and I'll talk to school teachers and all this other stuff.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
This is a beautiful example of one of my clients right now, whose father cheated on his mother, had a kid with her, and now stepmom is one that he had a kid with. And the child I'm seeing, who's my client, won't let her come into therapy or be involved, doesn't want her to be involved, and then bio parents don't want her to be involved. She doesn't want to be involved. So is there any way to...
She, the stepmom, doesn't want to be involved.
Yeah, and then bio mom and bio dad don't want her to be involved either. Kid doesn't want her to be involved, but
Okay.
she's part of his struggle reintegrating in this new family.
You bring up a huge other topic, which is so important, and we will talk about, but not now, and that's how to deal with parents. One thing we haven't talked about a lot is how to deal with parents and all the different dynamics and involvements and what goes on with all of that, and that is so tricky. So can you hold that to that? I know it doesn't. That's not very. I can see from your face it doesn't satisfy you. But the problem is it'll take me into a whole other place, and I don't want to go there right now. So we'll see. But we'll see where I go, and if that doesn't, we'll go to there.
I'm a patient person.
You are a very patient person. That's why you'll have lots of patience. But speaking of, you have a divorce situation. You have a mom or a mom, somebody who's not connected, disengaged to this child. You're going to do filial therapy, or you're going to at least think about doing filial therapy, because it is the best bridger. It's the best way to bridge a parent and a child up to ages, well, whatever age, but certainly from 2 to 12, or 10. Jay's probably 9, 10, or something like that, I think. So, for example, I had, as a matter of fact, orders from a court. The judge says, Dad, who's been in New York City for the last 5 years of these kids' lives, and the kids are now, what were they, 7 and 9. He's coming back into town because he wants to have a relationship with his kids. And his mom, the mom, does not want him to have a relationship with the kids. No, Your Honor, he's a terrible dad, blah, 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 blah. He never abused them, but he has not had much of any contact. Filial therapy. Teach this dad child-directed play skills so he can bond with these pumpkins. And he did a marvelous job. Here's a really weird population. Dad's been accused of molest. No true finding. Gonna do reunification. There's no true finding here. What the hell are you gonna do? You gotta reunify a potential molester. Perhaps maybe if we teach him child-directed play skills, which is a mega forced empathy, or a forced mega empathy skill training endeavor, we can inoculate the situation. So I've worked on several cases. Court orders, reunification. It's a little 5-year-old and a dad. And that's what I taught him. Child-directed play skills to be with this child. Child was also in individual therapy. Had a lot of team kid here. Just like some people, and it's okay, it doesn't mean they're bad, don't have rhythm. Some people will say, I see you want to, whatever, put handcuffs on me, however, it's not okay with me, but nonetheless. They'll talk it, but they have no spirit in it. They don't have Eston's spirit. Eston just opened up and went into it. And it's very, very hard to teach that. You can teach, remember Carl, remember my little Manson tape? His dad, there was no way that man could learn how to reflect, never mind join the play and all of that. Doesn't have that capacity. Deficit of mirror neurons or something. I remember one lovely couple bringing their obstreperous 8-year-old girl. I give them the spiel. I give them stock book. I showed them this tape. I gave them the tape to go. Other tapes. They come back and say, you know, this is awesome. We love this stuff. But there is no way I can say to my 8-year-old, you can think, feel, say anything, do just about anything, you're the boss in here. That's just not who I am, not who I raised. You do it with her. Okay. Kind of like saying, hey, I think it's great for my kid to learn piano. I don't play piano. You're a piano teacher. Teach her to play piano. Okay. Some people aren't going to do this, but they thought it was good. It got much more complicated. She ended up being molested by her half-brother. Things just got, the couple ended up getting divorced. I saw her into her teens, off and on, various times. Both individual contact with both parents. Last time I saw her was in the San Diego airport when I was coming back from Hawaii, and she had just gotten off a plane. She looks at me and goes, Dr. V, oh my God, you're all grown up. Okay. Okay, any parting thoughts? We're good? You get some sense of this? It's an incredibly useful technique. But again, I would teach them thoroughly before they go home and do it. Have them do it minimum 15 minutes, maximum 30, 2 to 3 times a week. By the way, if you have any kids, and they're little, do this with your children at least 3 times a week. By the way, it was wonderful to see again how fluid they moved between magic mind, prefrontal cortex. They are fantastic, the two of them, and how they move. And I was saying, as a therapist, that's a very useful skill to be able to just move in and out of those different states very fluidly. Let's talk about latency. Latency age kids, which is roughly sort of maybe ages 6 or 7 until ages kind of 10. Or by the time most kids are 12 now, particularly girls, they really are tweeners. And they're more like teens than they are. Oh, they're such an interesting combo. My dear sweet goddaughter, Jessica Elizabeth, I'll never forget when she was, I guess she was 10. And truly, on one, they'd moved. This is McGoldrick, right? My best buddy's daughter. So they moved. So we move her into her room. And truly, half her room is a wonderful dollhouse that McGoldrick built her, and unicorn posters. I mean, that whole deal. To about here. And then all of a sudden, this whole part of the room, at that point, Brooke Shields was young and a big deal. It was Brooke Shields, Duran, and just all the teen life. It just was literally split, and literally in half. And they moved to Laguna. By the next time I came up, which was about a month later, the whole room was teen. Just took over. Preteen. All right, latency. What are the tasks of latency? What are they? One way to define developmental stages is about what they are connected to. All right? Everything's about connection. We are the mosaic of our attachments. What are these little pumpkins attached to? What are they? What are their developmental tasks? What are the issues at hand? What are the implications for psychotherapy? Talk to me. Michelle was thinking, her head's going, So, some thoughts. Put mouth to the thought.
I'm just trying to recall the latency.
Yeah, well, and think of your own latency. Remember when you were 8-ish? Anybody remember when they were 8? Remember, Jen, when you were 8? What was important to you? 8, 9, 10, something.
Rules, games, things like that.
I'll let you say something important. Rules.
Self-identification.
Louder, little.
Self-identification.
Okay. Self-identification.
Friendships and belonging.
It's always about belonging, as far as I'm concerned. It's just who you're belonging to. You're moving away from belonging just primary to mom and dad, or immediate.
Possessions belong.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, but that's another thing that actually. Though the little pumpkins also, little pumpkins will grab onto their teddy bear and possessions, transitional objects. You know, the blankie that you still have, a little shredded now. So, but yeah, you were going to say something.
Concrete thought.
Well, then there's a whole, we're going to talk about the whole, what's happening in the brain. You betcha. Their brain is shifting like crazy. I don't mean shifting in the other way I was using it. I mean developing. And they're moving, coming on board online. There's a lot more areas. Remember a little bit, it's like sunrise. It kind of comes from back here, magic mind and all of that. Well, now PFC and the DPFC, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. PFC and the dorsolateral PFC is coming on board a lot more, which means exactly this. They are much more rule-bound. They're much more reality-based. They are much more becoming and need to become acculturated. So this whole thing about becoming acculturated, rules of the road, they're in school now, right? My God, by the time you're 6, 8, you're now 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade. You're getting to do exactly what you're doing. Sitting there at the table, paying attention, or at least looking like you're paying attention. Following the rules, saying, oh my God, the influx of stuff that's coming at you. And who becomes really important to you? Your teacher. And God knows your peers. Starts to really, really matter. When you're a little 1, 2, 3-year-old, what's the most important thing in your life is your mommy and daddy, or whoever your primary caregivers are, and your poochie. Or, oh yeah, $15,000 or otherwise. You love that poochie, or kitten, whatever it is, or the little hamster, or I think I told you the weirdest pets that we ever brought to my office. I told you this one? Worms. This kid brought a big thing of worms. Yeah, and he wanted me to go tell, oh God. And it was really important for him, so I did. Do you know worms smell bad? Oh God. Anyway, We get attached, whatever it is. But friends and peers and how peers view us becomes very important. Hence, and this is important, hence a whole new development in terms of the protector. As you all know, I'm really big on parts. And we have these parts of who we are, right? If you're the president of the United Brain States of you, one of the most important parts, it's like the Secretary of Security, and that's the protector. And when you're a little pumpkin, your protector is the peer protector, and that is, it's just there to save your ass. Remember, the amygdala, right? Fully formed, 8 months in utero. Your birth, you're ready to go. You're ready to fight, flight. And your initial protector is just that. Wah! Something's wrong, I'm not comfortable, wah! I'm wet, or wah! I'm hungry, wah! It's all your protectors saying, hey, come on, I need service now, please, thank you. And mommies and daddies teach you early on what to do and not do. Don't go on, boom, you're going to fall. Though actually that's supposed to be neurobio-based, you know not to fall. And of course the classic look both ways before you cross the street, all that stuff. That's the peer protector to help you out. Well, things start to change. When you start to get 3, 4, 5, 6, I told you this the very first time I met you. We talked about how I want to evoke psychological safety so your natural curious mind that wants to learn will come out and you'll feel safe. Remember, and you added 1 and 1 and you raised your hand, you said 2 and you're like, yeah, the teacher said that's so smart. How do you spell hat? And you said HTA. The teacher went, no. And you went into, that was a good look, you went into shame. So all of a sudden now your protector starts to protect you from internal feelings related to others' evaluations of you. See, when you're a little pumpkin, you don't have a lot of like, how are they seeing me now? You start getting to be 6, you have a lot of that. A lot of that. And the perverse protector started to try to protect you from shame. And you do all kinds of things like lie, steal, dinosaurs or otherwise, a whole bunch of other behaviors, to protect yourself from all kinds of different feelings, shame, fear, all kinds of disavowed selves. Who you're dealing with in therapy, whether it's a child or adult, really first and foremost, and in many ways, is the protector. And you're going to have to negotiate with that protector. As much as the person wants to change, there's another part of them that's very scared to change. Jung, Freud, those guys were very smart, right? The shadow, you have to deal with the shadow, disavowed aspects of self. The ones protecting, defense mechanisms, you have to first deal with those. Very smart. So this becomes very important by time your latency. Because you are following rules, you want to follow rules, and God knows you're playing all those sports, right? And you're doing ballet and all those other things with peers, and you want to be good at, because competence motivation becomes really, really important. To feel and be competent so that you feel belonging, so that you're admired. Yanon Volcani. Volcani's after Stuart Vincent. 6th grade, Bird Rock Elementary. Born and raised in Israel, right? Here at age 7, 8. Didn't play baseball in Israel. We played soccer. Well, in those days, they didn't play soccer here like they do now. I was horrible at baseball. 6th grade, man, it matters whether you connect with that ball. And all your peers are lining up waiting. No offense to Stuart Vincent, he wasn't a cool kid. I was kind of a cool kid. Not super cool, but up there. 80th percentile cool, whatever. Striving for the 95th or 98th. Vincent was probably in the 43rd. I mean, nobody thought that way, but that's how it was. Vincent before Volcani. Ball comes over the plate. Vincent pops it, gets a solid double. Yeah, it's a good look. It's like, oh shit, pressure on me now. Oh my God. And I'm kind of a cool kid, right? Like, yeah, okay, YV. Nobody knew how to say my name. Not even the teachers. You can't say why. Why not? Because nobody knows what to make of Y. So they just say YV. YV's up. Guess what happens? You got it. Strike one, strike two, strike three. Holy shit. Shame. Remember I told you about the blue tennies in 10th grade? Yeah, well, this was another shameful moment. Guess what? Every time I go to Albertsons, I go past that exact diamond where I shamed myself. Fast forward many years later, Yanon Volcani. It's his birthday. He's a really good baseball player. Attaboy. He is now in 6th grade. His girlfriend came to watch him play. Yes, bases are loaded. Yes, there are 2 outs. Yes, his dad is there with a fucking video camera recording every goddamn second of this. Right behind the plate, getting through the grid there so you get the full... And if you know anything about that level of baseball, it's mostly ball 1, ball 2, but it's not machine pitch. This is the real deal now. Oh my God, it is a 2-3 count. And somehow I'm holding the camera steady, only because the lens is in between the little thing. Otherwise, I'd be like... Thank God Yanon does not have my genes in this regard. He has much more of Rory's under pressure, be calm genes. Slow-mo. Bam! Solid, going. Caught. But that's okay. Caught, run, brought 2 runs in. No problem. Can drop the bat with pride. Attaboy. Told you, our boys are ourselves, only in smaller form. And he felt really good. Remember I told you in conference, speaking of sports, right? Remember? He was on soccer. They just played a 3-day tournament. We come back into town. We're going to some Mexican restaurant at UTC. These guys have been competing for days. And I told you, there's this big couch thing in the waiting area. There's about 30 of us between the kids and the parents and all that. And one of the first things these kids do, they create this game of who can slide off the couch and go farther. Kind of like long distance jumping. They just can't compete and show their competence enough. This matters a lot. This matters a lot. Rules, regulations, reality. Because, again, the PFC is developing in same with the dorsolateral. Now there's also another yin-yang. Jung is right, man. There's all these different pulls and pushes. So Yanon Volcani and Joe Magolik were nice kids. They weren't troublemakers. They were good kids. Got along with everybody and everything. Did fine in school, etc., etc. Ha! But on the other hand, a little bit of the trickster shadow part. So in those days in Bird Rock, there was a restaurant right here in Bird Rock and Camino de la Costa. There was another restaurant over here. This restaurant had a roof. Wah, wah, wah. So 12-year-old, actually 11-year-old, not 12-year-old, Joe and Yanon had a whole stack of water balloons, yes, all stacked up on that restaurant's roof. Quack, quack, quack. And we wait for somebody to go into the other restaurant. Love it! Splat! Splat! Oh, we just thought that was the funniest thing. Hey, you kids, get off that roof! Furthermore, on Camino de la Costa, fancy-dancy street, a lot of wealthy people. They drive black Cadillacs. Wah, wah. Oh, no. No, this wasn't water balloons. Oh, no. There was this really cool orange tree just down the street. I know. I mean, you think about this, it's ridiculous. Look at the shaking heads. Oh, God. Yes, we had these piles, these bags of oranges. And there's a little alleyway that cuts through Camino de la Costa, still there today, and La Jolla Boulevard. And that was our spot, man. And all thing, because there's a bush there. Got all our bags of oranges. We're waiting for the caddy. The newer the better. The older the lady, the more points. There's one on, look at, oh my God, it's a 68 caddy with the fins and everything is black and she's really old. Go! Wow! Missing a little of this, or at least taking it offline for the moment. Because let's think, oh dear, what could happen? I mean, now as an adult, I think, Jesus, that mic would cardiac arrest of this poor old lady. And then I have the vision even more of, here's the mom with a stroller. Oh yeah, now I'm an adult. Now I'm a parent. Now I'm thinking this through. She's strolling with her little baby and the defibrillate goes, and then the Cadillac goes right in. 3 people dead because of us. No, it didn't happen. Of course not. I know, I got the sweaty palm now. Do you think I had it for a moment then? No. Walk, walk, splat. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, the cops were called. After about the 15th time we did this. Did this on a regular basis. Oh yeah. Regular basis. And we always ran through the alley. You'd think you'd see our little footprints through it. Because you have to go from the bushes through. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh shit, here comes the cops. I don't think he even said the word shit when I was at it. Oh shoot, here comes the cops. Let's go, jam. So we run to La Jolla Boulevard and we hide in these bushes. Yeah, there were actually bushes in those days in La Jolla Boulevard. And I remember, I'll never forget seeing the cops' feet go tunk, 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 tunk. Hey, you kids, come out of the bushes. Us? Yeah, you. Oh, okay, officer. Why? And they just like orange peel all over our hands and everything. Busted. Turns out that was a kid from Mission Bay High School, never forget, across the street, busted up, said, hey, they're hiding over there. Dun, dun, dun. Just think, yeah. Oh, another little dissocial behavior. We'd go into, it was then Mayfair Market. Oh, peanut butter, that looks good. Delicious. Ooh, ice cream, cool. I mean, we're eating it right out of the store. But we put it back. I mean, I bet my thumbprint was right there in the peanut butter. Can you imagine opening going, oh God, there's a thumbprint in this. I remember walking out and the store clerk guy said, excuse me, you guys are shoplifting. And I was so incensed. What? Go ahead, search me. You want to take something out of your store? I mean, the peanut butter is just thick. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, I don't know how it is for girls, but I know for boys. And I think in some ways, there's this reaction to all of this that we got to do with this kind of the dissocial. And I think one of the functions, by the way, oh yes, again, of video games, is it gives a certain context for the dissocial. Because you can play all kinds of Modern Warfare and all kinds of other things. Grand Theft Auto, whoa, whoa! And it's a safe means of doing the dissocial while you are being very acculturated. Okay, so implications for treatment. What are some implications for treatment? And then we're going to go. Somebody saying things? Oh, am I right? You okay? Am I racing before you've ridden?
I was just curious what the fourth was.
I'm sorry?
Tasks of latency.
Oh, man. All right, so you're going to hold me to like literally the 4 tasks. I know. Oh, God. Replay. We need a replay. I don't remember. No, I mean, we know that rules and all that's really important. We know that friends are really important, peers and all that. We know that competence is really important. Man, what did we do? Did I actually put anything in fourth?
No.
Was there, no? Oh, good. Oh, but you're just keeping, we're serving Melissa's role. We're keeping me on task. I don't know that there were literally 4. I apologize.
Oh.
We all feel, see, that's very good, though. You're very prefrontal cortex. You're very ruled. You learned that part well. You've moved through your latency very well. Well, actually, no, you did say it. There is the further formation of a self-identity. That's a good one. And I don't know that it's in this order, but all of these serve to do this. Actually, that's absolutely right. That's the 4th one. Whew. But it's true. No, that is the 4th one. Because you're right. Who was it that said identity? Oh, you did. Yes. And you're right. Now, of course, when we get to teenhood, whoa, man. But area 10 of the orbital frontal lobe, other areas that are forming a separate sense of self. Remember, we go from we to we, me, to me, we, to me, and we. We're now in the me-we phase. More. So much more separate than that. And we do that through the vehicle of friends and competence. Implications for therapy is, what are some implications? Because I know you got to get going. What do you think? What do you think? Mom to be. And it's okay, I don't want you to feel unsafe.
Oh no.
Okay, there's a difference.
Trust me? Trust me with the therapist?
Okay, well, that's instant trust. You have to earn their trust in a slightly different way. You can't just do the reflective stuff that I've been teaching you to do. Because they'll start saying, why are you saying everything I'm saying back? Because they're more self-aware. When you're just in magic mind and somebody joins you and says, I see you're looking at me, it looks like you're thinking about what I'm saying. So even you start going like, whoa, at some level. If you're at 3 or 5, that's like, oh, cool, I'm being seen. I'm being, wow, how cool. You start being latency, it's like, whoa, wait, huh? But it's kind of a mixture. You're going to see next week my tarot tape, and you'll see I mix it up. So I do classic reflection, and she's fine with it. But I also get to, oh my God, what do you get to do that you're so well trained to do that you so want to do anyhow, and you tried so hard not to do? Yes, you get to ask questions, because their prefrontal cortex is engaged. So you get to ask questions, and you'll hear me ask questions of Tara. And then I'll go right into reflective stuff. I'll become the little doggy, rah, rah, rah. I'll do all kinds of things. But I also say, wow, wait, you lost your dog? Whoa, huh? I start asking questions and talking, kind of like Rudy Eckstein in that psychoanalytic tape. Granted, I think he might have danced a little bit more, thank you much, but nonetheless. Do you know how E.T. and Little Orphan Annie are the same? Yes, they were both looking for a home. Brilliant, that was a brilliant question he thought of, and it connected with her. Still about connection, but you get to ask questions. You get to check in about whether they're involved in games and ballet and sports and what are they involved in the outer world, because you want them connected to their peers. One of the highest predictors of well-being at 30 is whether you were connected to peers at 13, never mind at 3 and at 6 and at 8. And I really worry about kids who are not connected to peers. That really worries me, much more than whether they're acting out and all that stuff. And it doesn't have to be Joe Gregarious, doesn't have to have 15 buddies and a sleepover at any given time. And I still will tell you my recipe for incredible pancakes. Speaking of sleepovers, that's what made me think of it. But I want them to have at least, or her to at least have 1, 2 close friends by the time you're 6, 7, 8, and that you're doing some sleepovers, coming over to your house. Or if at first, I'm working right now with a kid, he's really scared. It's like 10, it's time. And he knows it. It's like, I need to be able to do a sleepover. So we're working on the parameters of what it's going to take today, because he wants to be part of. So you get to ask questions, so you're aware of peers in that group, and you might send them to group therapy kind of intervention-y stuff. And not just individual. Big brother, big sister kind of stuff. Menahuni surf camp kind of stuff. And not everybody's good at everything. But find something. They've got to have some passionate connection to some activity, endeavor, including video games. For some point of the day, I don't want more than 2, 3 hours, never mind 6. And I prefer if they'd maybe start programming and learning how to create their own games. But okay? So you get to ask questions. You can make sure they're connected to peers in the world out there, and you're going to be working with their parents. And remember that protocol I told you about, the 4-step protocol? If they're doing something wrong, instead of punishing them, why'd you do what you did? What's the impact on others? What could you have done differently? Imagine it in your mind. Making an amends. Boy, by the time they're 10, 12, never mind 17, they can really do that, because the prefrontal cortex is much more involved now. So kind of how you help the parents in their interventions with little ones starts to differ some. Okay, you getting this? Go playfully live out both your social and dissocial self this week. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Oh, who's writing a question? You are writing a question. Thank you. Oh my God, we only have 2 more classes. I saw the emails. I haven't actually opened them. Some of you are now sending me either Twitters or your reactions. Please do, please do. We only have 2 more weeks. Have a great week.